And we are back with another episode
Yes, sir.
of Boondocks series recap presented by Simple Math Matrix. It's your boy Mister, aka Super 357, best known as Prince Godbody, and I'm joined by
Your boy Aaron, the great return. The
Yeah.
great return.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this week we'll be talking about season 3, episode 5 of the Boondocks. If you're following along on HBO Max, which is Smoking with Cigarettes, which is both an infamous Boondocks story and an infamous real life situation. Which one do you want to cover first? I think we should maybe give the real life background first. You agree?
Yeah.
All right. So to give you a little background on the situation, there was in 2008, and you probably already know this. You've probably seen it. It was one of the first viral things on the internet. One of the first
Yeah.
viral newscasts on the internet for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where you saw it first before you even saw it on the Boondocks. But that viral news clip of 7-year-old Latarian Milton, who stole his grandmother's
Durango with his friends. So basically it went like this. He had his friend that he wanted to come hang out with him at his mother's house. His mother was like, "Oh no, didn't want to have anyone over tonight." So Latarian gets mad. Basically he takes his grandmother's keys to her Durango, and then peels off with the other 7-year-old kid in the car and just goes on a joyride, basically.
Yeah, and this is reflected in the Boondocks by Riley being the 7-year-old kid that was with him during the joyride. And this isn't even the end of his troubles, but this is also where the episode starts, essentially. We have Latarian and Riley on said joyride, they don't use Walmart, it's Wally Mart or what have you. But in this episode, honestly, we really get to see how impressionable Riley is.
Yeah.
Him being in the car and the way he's acting in the car with Latarian and that opening scene, just kind of, pole jockeying, it shows that Riley, because before we've seen Riley be influenced by people older than him. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Ed and Remy or something like that, it's always, or the painter, it's
Right.
always somebody older than him.
Yeah.
It's never somebody his age. He fucking damn near despises Huey just because Huey tries to give him good advice
Right.
all the time. But now we see a guy or kid the same age as Huey making him do hood rat shit because according to, well, they don't call him by his real name in this episode as well. Yeah, they call him Lamilton Tayshawn. So they kind of combined his first and last name for a first time, and then
Right.
Ghetto his last name. But I think that's the glaring point about this episode.
Yeah, about how your influences, man.
Yeah.
The things around you. You're if you look into like Latarian's
Background.
also in his background, his grandmother was talking about how he was, witness to his parents' physical abusive relationship
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And that is a big thing, and that can cause, kids to act out. Obviously, in this episode in particular, Riley is the one being influenced. Well, I guess Lamilton in this case is too, but Riley being one of the main, characters in the show, it does go to show that he is subject. Everyone is vulnerable to those same bad influences or bad experiences, trauma more so than anything. If you really want to like deep dive into it, it's really about trauma and reaction to trauma and how that's affected in kids even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids don't have the mental capacity.
They push it on to other people. Kids don't deal with their trauma. They project their trauma.
Exactly. That's actually the perfect way to put it.
Yeah. I think that a big part of that whole saying that kids reject their trauma and they push it out is something we don't really see on the Boondocks, because the kids in the Boondocks live a great life. The worst kid, the kids that have the worst life in the Boondocks are Hugh and Riley.
Right.
They don't have a mom. They live with their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they you don't see them necessarily taking that out on anybody. Even when they go back to visit home, when Mo dies, and they go back in Cairo and them aren't fucking with them, they're never, you know what I'm saying, outwardly showing that they're pissed off that they moved. Everybody was pissed off at them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is one of the first times we really, I mean, other than, Riley and Huey being the main purpose of the show, child psychology is, probably a huge focus of it. But this is one of the times, like you said, like we see something that has always been present throughout households with children projecting their traumas on the other, mainly their
Right.
friends.
Right.
But now we see something like this. We see it in a joke form in 2008. They're joking like, his dad got laid off at Popeyes and all this shit. But that shit's still it's 2023 now, 15 years later. That episode is still as relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If honestly, even more relevant now because kids are even more subject to things like this, and we're seeing a lot more. What we would deem radical behavior. What is really normal, but according to our most American standards, I guess.
Yeah.
You're seeing more of that. Obviously, social media and the internet. It's just an open ocean for any kid of any age to pick up a whole lot of bad shit. There's a lot of evil shit out there.
Yeah, and it's the reflection of seeing what other people have, become envious of that, or not even envious, or losing your self-esteem, and then what I'm saying, that children don't fucking handle emotions well, because they're kids, their brains aren't fully developed. You know what I'm saying? So we can't necessarily blame them for that.
No.
And like we said, we got to go back to the parents for real. Because when his grandmother comes over the house, we were joking, but the grandmother comes over the house and she's given all the excuses of why her grandson isn't a fucking criminal. He's a good kid. He's AB. That's their favorite thing. He's an AB kid that always helps me out around the house. Gives pretty much the prescripted spiel to granddad, and granddad knows this kid is fucking evil. This kid is no good.
Right.
But this kid will never realize he's no good if he has people like his grandmother that their way of punishing him is to praise him to other people and make them forgive him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what you
Instead of correcting the actions, they beg for forgiveness.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? And there are people, and you probably definitely know somebody like that. Their actions, they'll fuck up, and their punishment, they'll get, it's kind of punished internally, but their real punishment is the embarrassment of apologizing.
Yeah.
Embarrassment being in air quotes.
That is
what
true.
I'm saying?
That is true.
That's what I feel like it is, and we see that a lot. It's a lack of accountability. We rarely, in situations like that, is the child actually held accountable for what they're doing fully.
Yeah, because in a lot of cases, if the child holds themselves accountable, then the parent has to hold themselves accountable too.
Yeah, exactly.
It all starts
At home.
All starts at home. And that's really the sad part about society now. It's only but so much you can really do to control what information's out there. Like, yeah, we could censor a whole bunch of stuff, but when kids go home, man, it's nothing you can really do.
Shit, they don't even have to be at home. They can be in the school as long as they can look under their desk. They can get on the internet.
Teachers can only do but so much.
Yeah.
They're there to teach. Are they there to
babysit?
Yeah.
Are they there to raise your kids? Exactly.
So that is definitely something that ongoing.
Yeah, because that type of punishment doesn't work, and we see that because in real life and in the show, Later, what do they call it? Milton in the show, Later in real life, they go to Walmart and he assaults his grandmother over some chicken wings because she didn't want to buy them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that goes to show that her trying to punishing him by like it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? What is really going on at home that you get that much attention that you can't turn that into something positive?
Yeah.
Like his nickname on the internet was Hood Rat Kid because he wanted to do hood rat things with his friends. To think as a parent you wouldn't be totally ashamed of that, as a guardian, totally ashamed of that at 7 years old.
Yeah.
Because we were having a conversation, like you were saying, like it wasn't a good idea, but that takes some complex thoughts of a 7 year old to say, "Fuck it, here are the keys, let's ride."
Yeah.
But that really doesn't. And when you have shitty parents, when you're 7 years old and you have legitimate access to the keys to the car at any time, and you feel like you can get in the car and drive it away,
Yeah.
and nothing to happen to you beyond maybe a spanking or what usually happens, that's not your fault when you're 7.
No, none of that's your fault when you're 7.
Yeah.
No matter what he was doing. I mean, that's obviously someone that's out, like lashing out, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is like, um, I guess it shows what anxiety can really push a person to do, even for
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Anxiety and anger.
Hmm.
Untreated mental like condition. You know what I'm saying? Not even like saying he has anything, but like just being pissed off all the time is not good.
Yeah.
Especially for a child. Children should not be pissed off all the time. You know what I'm saying? But the episode goes along, and we come to find out there's like this agent that's been spying on the Milton this whole time. He thinks he's the fucking spawn of the devil,
Yeah.
and it's his job to kill this kid. It's kind of the argument of, ever heard the argument, if you knew Hitler was going to be Hitler, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's how they kind of satirize the entire situation.
Yeah, I think
That's how
this
they
was.
bring it back to life.
Yeah, I think this was his kind of role was to just provide a moment to sigh and just like ha for a few
Yeah.
seconds. Like, all right, this dude's actually crazy too, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yo, you're a
Yeah.
grown man. This dude's
Hell
like,
bent on killing a kid.
yeah, like,
Yeah, he was a comedic relief of a really kind of tough episode. Because this one, when Riley comes home and says, "I've been hanging out with Milton, and I know I'm not supposed to. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore." For somebody like a character like Riley to say that, you know, some crazy shit has happened, and he's completely traumatized.
Yeah.
Like I was saying when we were watching it, if your child comes in the house and you told them, "Don't be smoking cigarettes," and they came in and was like, "Dad, I was out there smoking cigarettes with Mr. Son, and for real, I don't think I'm going to do that shit anymore. I understand what you're saying. I'm going to go straight to my room. Don't even worry about punishing me." You're going to
Yeah.
immediately call the other parent and be
Yeah,
like,
we got a
"Hey,
problem.
yeah, is somebody,
Something happened."
Yeah, is somebody dead?" You know what I'm
Something
saying?
happened.
Yeah, but so that's kind of, that's kind of that white dude who was hunting him down kind of broke all that type of tension.
Yeah.
But I think that being the Boondocks, they couldn't have done it any other way.
Yeah, this was a pretty
Mainly because nothing ever fully traumatizes Riley.
no. Riley's still very on and off. You know, Riley's more impulsive.
Yeah,
as a
he's still
as
a kid.
personality.
He's still a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley still is kind of like just a copycat person, right?
Yeah. Well, and to speak to that, the episode goes on to the Milton bullying Riley into hanging out with him because he takes his mother's gun, his grandmother's gun, and eventually it gets to the point where they get into a fight on a rooftop, a la Juice style. You know, the movie Juice. Pretty
Yeah.
much Juice occurs. He tries to save Milton from falling off the ledge. The crazy super agent guy comes off, peels his fingers like he must die. The Milton doesn't actually die, he's crawling away. And so it all ends in a funny with the dude and the Milton crawling away, fighting each other. Riley walks back, and instead of "you got the juice now," a kid asking for a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that. So that's the end to the Boondock story, but that's actually not the end to Letarian's story. Letarian at 17 was ordering an Uber with some friends
Oh yeah.
when they robbed and or a Lyft when they robbed and carjacked the guy.
Yeah, basically they would. My understanding is that he had an Uber with his friends, and basically they stopped and dropped. I think it was a girl off or something
Yeah.
at her crib and blah blah blah. But they wanted a ride to somewhere else too.
Yeah.
And they were trying to say, hey, like it doesn't really work that way. You got to
Rebuy a ride.
Yeah, you know, like or at least you can. I guess you can't just do it
Continue
on a
with
rolling
yeah,
basis like that and
yeah.
just like. But anyway, basically, someone pulls out a gun and like pretty much pistol whips him,
And they take the car.
and Latarian takes the keys and pretty much they peel off.
Yeah. But that's the last crime he has committed. He avoided jail time
Yeah.
by doing community service, and now works at a music management like a place. So he, you know what I'm saying, he's
Hey,
on the
good
up
for
and
him,
up,
man.
has a college degree and all that jazz. So
But that's what's up.
yeah, the end is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's another story that goes to show that just because you have some bumps that fucking people mature and learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he's still a kid. He's still only 21.
Yeah.
He's had a
Got his whole
lifetime of
life.
fame and he's only 21.
Yeah, he got a whole life ahead of him.
Shit, I would say look out for me. I'm pretty sure he probably raps. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like that always, rapping. Why not? But that ends one of the better episodes of the latter seasons of Boondocks. Because around this part it gets really shifty.
It does.
But damn, it was really good to rewatch the episode and just see how fucking funny it was. That guy being hell bent on killing that kid is something I didn't realize how funny it was until now. What do you give the episode out of 10? Give it a good 7. I give it a good 7.
Yeah, I would say about a 7.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Got anything else?
No, I think that about does it for me.
Shit. Well, this has been another episode of Boondock Series Recap presented by Simple Math Matrix. It's your boy Mr. aka Super 357, best known as Prince Godbody, joined by
It's your boy Aaron, King Brumman. You know it.
and we are.